Hello and welcome to D101. Listen, we're here. We're here. Some of us are queer. I'm queer, and we're all used to it. Hi. I'm joined with a very special guest tonight, MzKatonic. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much.
So we are streaming
It
across
is it is
two
awesome
platforms
to be
tonight.
here. Super excited. Okay.
We are. We're. I think we're successfully streaming on both TikTok and Twitch. But all the cool stuff is going to happen on Twitch. I'm going to tell you right now. All the
Awesome.
cool camera changes. See when we go like me, you, both of us. That's not going to happen on TikTok. TikTok was just like, what's happening? Still
It
tired and
is in
angry.
fact a Lovecraft reference. Yes. I am a big Lovecraftian fan. I'm pretty sure there's 20 other people that have done it, but I love the play on words. So,
Well, I think it's an awesome name. You are a very talented prop maker and cosplayer. I am
yes,
still
it is.
So do we need a break to break out our elder signs? Yes, you do. You should break out your Paragon. You should always. It's a Dondero stream. If you don't have your elder signs ready and prepared, you done effed up. You
And I'm
done
not
fucked up.
teaming yet with you when the old ones come. If you don't have an elder sign, I'm sorry. No, I that
Yeah.
is one of those I will shoot you in the knee and go that way.
Mm-hmm. So we're here. We're gonna talk some. We're gonna talk some prop making, and we're gonna talk some cosplay. There's a big difference between the Dondera is not responsible for your madness at the point. At that point, he's not. Here at Dondera Streams, we are not responsible for any madness that may take place while watching the stream. So, all right, MzKatonic, I have three questions I'm going to ask you right off the bat. When did you
Sure.
start? Why did you start? And what is the most important thing you've learned since then? You can answer those in any particular order, but please let me know which one you're answering so I can like make sense.
Okay. So cosplay wise, it depends on what you're talking about. I am a hardcore TTRPG nerd. I did LARP for a while, which did a lot of extensive costuming. Like I played an NPC where the makeup job took 6 hours. Um, but for cosplaying recognizable characters, I started in 2020, and that is when I started actually making props. It was when everything locked down, and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to teach myself how to do this. It'll be fun. Um, and as to why, um, it's a creative outlet. Um, I enjoy makeup, I enjoy costuming, and after making my first prop and watching it, I call it the ugly duckling turning into a swan sort of thing. Seeing that process is, and then being able to look at a finished product and know that I made this is, it's an amazing feeling. Um, and it's just, I've kept going with it. And as far as learning, definitely a learning curve. Um, I have learned the hard way that glues are your friend and your enemy. There was one prop I made that I probably lost like $50 worth of foam because I was not paying attention. Um, and that, um, what is another thing? Because there's so much that I've learned with it. Automotive
No,
paints are your
I'm
friend.
sure there's like hundreds of things. Um, Well, that is awesome. I think it's funny that you said 2020 because that is the year I started streaming. I went from a filmmaker
Okay.
to a streamer because yeah, lockdown, and I didn't handle it well. It was one of those things where when everything locked down, I'm an extrovert.
Mhm.
I need
Yep.
people, and like our world ended as it were. So it was like one of those things where it just went from everything's amazing to lock it down. What are we gonna do? I was doing live performance shows. I was hosting events, and then just it dried up.
Oh, wow.
And prop making actually
Yeah, I
started
can only
out.
imagine.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things. Find a creative outlet, find that piece of sanity to reclaim yourself. And so I started streaming with prop making though,
Exactly.
and cosplay. Actually started at the beginning, well, at the end of last year. So I had been doing
Oh,
conventions
wow.
all my life, but it was always promoting filmmaking or our streams and stuff like that. Like it was just like,
Right.
this is the brand. Don Darrow is a brand. He can't cosplay because he has to sell himself. I got to prostitute myself out to the people, so you watch me. And
Yep.
at the last year, I got diagnosed with EPI, which is acronym pancreatic insufficiency. Essentially, I
Right.
have dubbed it, thinner disease, which I thought,
Oh,
and the
man.
doctors thought, was a sign of pancreatic cancer. So they literally said, "You're gonna die." Good
Oh,
news,
Jesus.
not dying, perfectly fine. It was
That's,
autoimmune.
yeah, yeah.
I
Hooray for
am,
not dying.
yeah, it was one of the things. I was the luckiest man alive. They literally said, "You have a disease that is 1% is autoimmune. You are that 1%." And so
Oh,
I said,
wow.
"All right, it's time to go." Near death experiences always like make you have that reflection. And it was like, okay, now I'm going to do everything I wanted to do when I was 10 years old.
Yep.
So I
That
started
was,
designing props, and I wanted to cosplay.
yep. It was, I had a similar thing with like lockdown because I'm a super extroverted person. Couldn't see people, couldn't go out and do anything. And my both of my kids, I have two boys. The oldest one cosplays, does like huge on TikTok, stuff like that. And that is how he got his outlet to at least feel social. And it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like a lot of fun. And I'm like, I've always wanted to do this, but I haven't. And he had in lockdown introduced me to the anime My Hero Academia. And the reason I got sucked into it is I saw, for anybody watching, this character called Overhaul, who's a fucking
Overhaul.
monster, like legitimately terrifying. Um, just his whole thing. And I'm like, I want to wear that because he just has this sick, like, on the advertisement, this big plague doctor mask, and his whole aesthetic was great. So I had bought a pre-manufactured cosplay for him. And the mask was just like this thin, cheap, rubbery mess. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I went, you know, I see all these cosplayers that I really like, and they make all these props out of this EVA foam. So maybe I'll try to make it because Amazon's still sending stuff. So why not? So I took it apart piece by piece and made a foam mask out of that as the template. Yes, creative guy, EVA foam is the best. I admire 3D printing. I've tried to get into it myself, but I fail miserably. Um, I actually replaced my
That's
hot end once because I got that blob that stuck all up into the tube and everything, and I
oh
could
yeah.
not clean it out. So I was like, you know what?
So
I'm
that's me
I'm
of
done.
EVA foam. Is I just end up gluing
Really?
myself to it, and I'm clumsy, and like
Yeah.
practically I'm
I
very
have
clumsy.
EVA on my finger right now.
Yeah, and what got me into it is because like my son and I wanted to do Ghostbusters. I'm you can watch the stream and tell you I'm a very big Ghostbuster fan. I have been since I was like a
I
little
remember
kid.
the original Ecto Cooler.
Uh, I had it in every day of my life until they stopped selling it.
Yep.
When I was a kid,
Mhm.
everything was Ghostbusters, everything. And then my son was the same way. Like I
Oh
had
yeah.
cosplayers come out for his birthday,
Oh nice.
and because they were friends of mine, because I made friends with them because I'm like, oh my god, I'm a giant Ghostbusters fan. I'm fanboying at your cosplay, And so I'm looking at like costumes on like Spirit Halloween, which had like some really great stuff, and like all the costumes. I was like, wow, $60 for like a very cheap, you know, material costume when I could
Yeah,
buy a jumpsuit, like
it
the actual
is.
jumpsuit, for $50. So
Yeah, it was the same with that overhaul mask, like the cheap rubber one I got. It was
hmm
like $50 for it. And making it myself, I spent less than that.
that's it. And like, so they had this full size proton pack, Spirit Halloween, for $275 that I bought. And at the time, I am a librarian by trade. This is like that's my day job. Is I'm a librarian at
Right.
a makerspace, and I teach people how to 3D print. Like and before I was a 3D printer, like before I was teaching kids to do it, I was a CG animator. Like I was creating 3D models for film. And the more
Nice.
I got into 3D printing, I was like, well, what's capable? Like how far can I go with it? So I printed. This is my very first 3D print, which is like a neutrino wand.
Nice.
And then like once I painted it and put it all together, I realized I was like, wait a minute. This cost me $5. This sells for $200.
Mhm.
What am I
It
doing
is
in my life?
nuts.
Yeah, what am I doing in my life that I'm paying that when I can make it? Because like that's all is spray paint and then like little detail
Mhm.
paint. So
Oh
I said,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I'm going to save up and buy my own 3D printer. And hold on, I got it. Okay, you don't want to go back on there? I'll put you on there later. I saved up and bought my own 3D printer, and then this became that proton pack. I made
Which
a
is amazing.
yeah a screen accurate proton pack with lights and everything, cheaper than the flimsy model they sell at Halloween stores. And
Yeah.
I do want to preface
That
this with I am not a professional. I am not somebody who is crafty or knows what he's doing in any regard. I can't paint worth a damn, but I know how to spray paint and I know how to go crazy with a brush. That's how you do wear and tear. Is you take a broken brush and go
yep.
and you whack
For
it a
me,
lot and
it's
you flip it.
yep. The wear and tear for me is, oh my gosh, with EVA foam. And when I show you the commission that I just finished is my favorite part because you just, for battle damage and wear and tear on that, you just kick your Dremel up to the highest speed that it goes and just set it down and let it go where it wants to go.
Oh, so that is cool. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
it's fun, but heartbreaking at the same time because you make this beautiful piece and you're like, "Oh, it's so gorgeous." And then you're hacking off chunks of it. Um,
yeah,
and like
that mentality
you
of
showed your first, that mentality of I ruined a good thing.
mm-hmm.
And making it cheaper yourself. Like this is the first prop I made. The overhaul mask for anybody that knows MHA. And I spent, including the plastidip and the paints, I think I spent about 25. Um, and made the
It does
entire
look
thing
great.
out of foam, except for the rope. I actually took a spool of rope that I had in my shed and just cut it, and then I laced it through here and primed it and painted it. But the whole thing is completely made out of foam, and it's my baby. There's a lot I've
How
improved
rigid
on
is it?
since I made it.
How do you
It
do
doesn't
that? Like
move.
how do you make that? How do you make foam rigid? Like
Um,
what is the curing
so
process to that?
so there's two parts of it. And it's what I've seen a lot of cosplayers. And again, I am by no means a professional either. I just have that wonderful hyperfixation. on making things as best as I can.
Here's to
Aw, thank you so
neurodivergency.
much. Yes, exactly. ADHD is wonderful and terrible at the same time.
It is God's
But
greatest
for
gift and
rigidity,
God's greatest curse.
yes. For rigidity, it's a matter of, and I've told other cosplayers that are starting to do foam crafting the same thing, is something called heat sealing the foam, because EVA foam is super porous and
Mm-hmm.
that helps with its flexibility. If you heat it up with a heat gun and then you shape it, after that, it'll start firming up a little more, and then um, using, I'm pretty sure everybody here has heard of Plastidip. It's a spray, it's a aerosol spray of rubber.
Oh, I have never
And
heard of that. So
that
you
goes,
have just taught me something.
yes,
All right, where
yes.
can I buy this?
You can get it at Walmart and you can get it at Lowe's. I can tell you now, price comparison, it is cheaper at Walmart than it is Lowe's.
And what is
Um,
it called?
During
Say it again.
lockdown, um, Plastidip,
Plastidip. Okay. I'm only saying this because I want to make sure people
P-I-D-I-P.
here
Yep.
can do it, and so I can rewatch this later when I haven't been drinking my
Yeah.
banana whiskey and go. She said something, and I want to do Plastidip. Thank you, Chad Hunter Poker.
Yes.
Chad Hunter Poker.
It is,
Does he
yeah,
poke? Does
Plastidip.
he poke Chads or does he hunt Chads? I need to know. Or is his name Chad and he's a hunter to pokers?
But it's Plastidip also acts like, once you get it on the foam, and it dries, it gives that
Oh,
hard texture on it. Um, and that, after the pieces have been glued together, locks it in place. It is tricky to work with. And I know there's Flex Seal as an equivalent. It is awful. Never use it.
never heard.
The second one of these that I made, I had to scrap for pieces because I couldn't find Plastidip and I used Flex Seal. And it came out in these huge chunks all over the foam. And when I tried to take it off, it just tore chunks out of it.
See, these are the
Um,
tips and tricks. And creative guy, you were right. No, Lewis is right. They need to do more of these at like conventions and whatnot. Also, thank you, Chad, for answering my very dumb question. Um, but that's a tip. Like I would look at and go, could I use Flex Seal? Because I've seen commercials of
no.
Flex Seal and I can slap it onto holes in like boats. Um,
Yeah, they're spray can Flex Seal, and it doesn't come out in an even spray at all.
okay.
Um, and even then, I mean, some, from spray painting, some aerosol cans
Don't use rubber odor coating
spray
either.
unevenly. Um, so I get those, they have those neat little caps that you can put on top of spray cans that look like a trigger, and it sprays it out more evenly, because I know for me with the Plastidip, if you don't do the layer evenly, then you're going to get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
texture on it. It's not going to have that smooth finish to it. And you have to be, the worst part of it is you have to be patient with it, because it takes, I usually wait about a half an hour between coats just to make sure it's dry to the touch after like 15, but I don't want to risk messing it up.
Yeah.
Um, and those coats have to be super thin, because otherwise you just get, it'll, uh, trying to find my words. Um, it
No,
will
listen.
cover
Not on
all
this
of the
stream do you
detailing.
ever have to find your words because I don't word well, and I make literally a living not wording well. So you're good.
Fair enough. I either word very well, or my language becomes a stream of ums and uhs. Uh,
I I
but
so one of our rewards on here is ban a word. And the most popular one that it gets banned, which I thought would be fuck, because people get very offended by me saying fuck. No, they banned the word because I like to while
Well,
I'm
you know
trying to
what?
like
I
work.
am breaking the rules. They don't apply to me. I'm gonna It's my thing.
Yeah, and it's because, like I said, I talk faster than I talk slower than my brain works. So what
Yep.
happens is I have finished the sentence in my brain, and my mind went, "What happened? Where did it go?" Brain faster than mouth. That's Chad's right. Please,
I
under work
actually
can
found
good.
something. Um, we were talking about the Plassy dip.
Mm-hmm.
This is a gauntlet that I made that I haven't painted yet. And when you look at it, you can see it's got that rubberized coating. But if you look at
Yeah.
the inside of it, where it's still foam, it's got like texture on it and all of there.
Ooh.
And putting that on there, just like with the mask, it doesn't move, it doesn't
All right.
budge.
I have a question.
Um,
That
yeah,
looks like a very simple piece. Walk us through how you made that, like step by step,
okay.
how that was made. Because, like I said, it looks like a simple piece, but I bet you there was a lot more work that went into it than just that.
Yes. So this one, it's one of my cosplays that has been sitting and collecting dust because I forget about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep.
Um,
Like my
it's
Mandalorian.
bent. Yep. And like my Femme Sephiroth that I've been working on for like 2 years. Um, but this entire area was a solid piece that I used, again, a heat gun because EVA foam becomes really flexible once it's heated up, and used it to get that shape to go on my arm. And then each of these individual lines right here, all these shapes, these are all individually cut pieces of foam that
That
I
was my
glued
first.
onto
That was my
there.
next question. Is that a solid piece of foam, or is it individual?
These are the main bracer is one piece, but all of these are individual pieces that
That
I
is
glued on there.
fascinating. Okay, so
Um,
you have a base.
and yeah, you have the base, and then you just cut out the pieces you want and lay them where they need to go. For this one, to like give it texture, I used several different millimeters of foam because the stuff I use is anywhere from like 2 millimeters up to half an inch. Um, but after I got them glued down, I used, and this is where foam gets cheap. Um, I used something called Quick Seal, which I actually have right next to me, oddly enough. Um, it's messy. Um, it's just Quick Seal. It's
I
a
use that
kitchen
for
bathroom cleaning
actually
caulk. Yes.
I use that for, and here I can show you a good example of it on here. If you look at the weld mark,
I am not a clean crafter.
or actually a
Yeah.
better example
You used Quick Seal for that?
is the weld, like get the welding marks, like on the handle right there.
Yeah.
Is I use quick seal because, like I said, it dries very
Nice.
quickly, and like I said, you can paint it. You can. I like it that you can snip it and go dot 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 and make it look like a weld.
Yeah. And it's for EVA foam, it works really well because like I'm using my laptop camera, so it probably doesn't have as good of imagery, but like when you look up here, you can't see the seams where I glued them on. It looks like it was engraved in there.
Well,
And
no,
that's
honestly,
because
that's why I asked
for
because it does
yeah.
really look like one piece that you took a Dremel to it. After you harden it, you took a Dremel to it. That's
Mm-mm.
why I asked.
One, two, three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So including the base, this is 10 pieces.
That is insane.
I've got another one, and this is the one I'll show off. It was the second thing I ever made. My youngest son loves, again, a character from MHA called Bakugo, if anybody knows it. And when he was 5, I made him, this is the one surviving piece. And this is about 40 pieces of foam. However, when you look at it, like trying to find a part, it's got bends in it because this thing is like 4 years old. But this whole thing here is actually 2 pieces, but you can't see the line there.
No, not at all. Actually, like I think that's really well done. Like that you put it together
And
it comes hardened.
yep, it's what quick seal's great for, because no matter if you're using a laser cutter, which one day I will, when I am rich and famous, I will get myself a laser cutter.
Yep. As
But
hey, listen,
it
as we all
so
will.
mhm, eventually. But even with a laser cutter, there are seams, because much like with 3D printing, you unless you have a gigantic printer, you can't make something all in one piece if it's bigger. So when you put the pieces of foam together, you're going to see those lines where everything is connected. And there is EVA foam clay, which is it's really good for doing like little detail work that's hard to cut out of foam itself. But I don't use that for seams. Um, I just use the quick seal because I put it on there, smooth it out with water, wait for it to dry, and then like 300 grit sandpaper, you smooth it out. And
I
if
was
there's
I was
still
about to
some texture
show
to it, yeah.
I was about to show how we get rid of our seams with 3D printing is Flex Seal that is great for it, and then 2-in-1 filler sandable and sandpaper.
Yep. Sandpaper is your friend.
Oh my God, yes
For
it is.
me,
That I think that is across the
it's
board. Sandpaper
Dremels
is your
are an
friend.
even better friend, though. Um, it is, but yeah, the quick seal works great. And then I've found that using just like 70% isopropyl alcohol on top of the quick seal, if I can't quite get the texture of it out, works great at smoothing everything and cleaning it up.
$12 on Amazon.
Nice.
And like I
I
said, this thing has saved my bacon on more times than I can count. Everything from helping sand down some like support, like leftover supports, drilling a hole, melting plastic. Like a lot of times, like you'll 3D
Mhm.
print something. You're like, okay, I need this to fit this bolt. That is great for just a quick hot melt of the plastic, so it becomes a little solidified.
Yeah,
One of the cool
it
things I have learned,
for
and especially
me,
from listening to you, um, is that EV foam and 3D printing seem really the same beast, just different sides of the spectrum. Because the more you talk, the
it
more I'm like,
is.
okay, what it is we have started here and we have started here, but we're ending there.
Yes,
Oh, what are
and
we
both
rolling
of them
for?
take an insane amount of time, just in different ways. Like I have a friend of mine in the
I have
501st
I have a very
that
important
did
question
a
before you do.
Mando
I gotta hate
set.
to interrupt you.
Yeah.
What is your AC
My AC, it depends. Are we doing fifth ed
currently?
or are we going old school and going to second ed?
Second ed right now. What is your AC?
Second ed right now, -10.
-10. All right. Sovereign Empire. You nailed it. Uh, They just wanted to tell you your brother is very proud of you. I mean, you can see the chat.
Yep, I saw it. That
Yeah, you were
is,
like, I saw it.
yes, that's my bro.
Not. Sorry, I didn't mean to
My
interrupt your
Seiko's
very
good
amazing
too.
story.
Nah, you're good. Um, but it was, yeah, I have a friend of mine that did his Mando kit. And God, I think he spent over 100 hours worth of printing time.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, that's
I've
very accurate.
seen, like, I have a couple 3D printed objects and they take a while. And EVA
It's
foam is the same way. Like, I just finished a commission that, because I decided to do a last minute adjustment on how to cover the lighting rig, has taken me almost 90 hours. Um, but for me, instead of watching the printer and making sure that it's still printing right, that it's not getting like the layers with the filament, I'm cutting everything, waiting for glue to dry, connecting everything, and then so both of them take a long time, and I
it
don't think
really
people
does.
realize that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Printer technology is coming so far, because just last year I bought a new printer that the standard print time was, I think, 60 millimeters per second, and now my current printer
Mhm.
at full speed is 500, and that is 1 year time.
Damn,
Like, this
that is
took me a
nuts.
weekend of solid printing, and this is over 30 parts, because every knob, this is 100% 3D printed except for the wiring, and it comes apart. And depending on your bed size and your print
I
speed, is something
Yeah,
that,
I've
like,
heard that can, because the more pieces, the smaller the print bed, the more pieces that you have to make, right?
yeah. But like I said, it doesn't. Everyone's like, "Oh, I need to get a big print bed." And I was like, a big print bed does one very important thing: lets you print less pieces. It doesn't save on time, because, like I said, most printers print at the same speed. So let's say I am printing. Yeah, creative guy. Exactly. I feel like I am the only cosplayer that pays no attention to how many hours I've worked on stuff. I don't. I
I
only
used to not. I
Once you
used to
start making
not,
props for
but
other
now
people,
that mhm.
that's it right there. When you start making props for other people, and they go, what, a day after they order something, is it done yet? Is it done
I
yet? Is it
I
done
have
yet?
been so lucky with the cosplayer that I've lucked out with my first experience, because like I've made a bunch of stuff for myself and then friends. I actually did. Yes, I used a timer, but I did not count, like, while the contact cement was drying or while the paint was drying, the quick seal was drying. That I turned the timer off. It is not a guesstimate. I am at 87 hours. Um, so yeah, I don't count dry times. I'm actively spray painting, I'm actively cutting,
Yeah.
I'm actively dremeling. Um,
And I think that becomes like a
but
very important thing when you are making props for other people. And the reason being is, you want to factor in, am I doing selling this for an appropriate amount of my time? Like, how much am I
yes.
actively doing this? Because, like I said, print time, I calculate because it tells me how long it takes. I know I can make a your bestie wants to express they're proud. 12, I'll allow it, but they are skeptical. Um and what it is, you really start to factor in, am I doing this for 30 cents an hour?
Yeah.
And I think that's
It
where it
was,
really starts, where time starts becoming a factor in what you're doing. Because when I'm making something for me, who cares how long it takes?
oh no, I don't think you're criticizing people at all.
Yeah.
It I never counted it until I got my first commission. Um,
Yeah.
for my own stuff, I don't count, but it's
Yeah.
like Dondero said, you know, you this is a lot of work, whether you're 3D printing, whether you're foam crafting, and you don't want to undersell yourself because of the amount of skill it takes with monitoring the printer, making sure, like, I'm assuming making sure the filament doesn't run out. Um, I hand cut everything. I hand paint everything. And that takes, same with you with like 3D printing, it takes so much time away from everything else you're doing. And
Or
like,
something I
you
can't be
don't
doing
want to
for
get
myself.
undersold for that. Yeah.
Another guest we've had on
Um,
before is my good friend Paul Bradford. He is a cosplayer and he's a prop maker, and we're both 3D printers. And like I said, we will. He is designed from the new Ghostbusters movie, the wrist mounted neutrino wand. He sent me the
oh,
designs and he goes,
nice.
yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling this. How much do you think I should sell it for?" And I was like, "Okay, the first thing you need to do," and that's what it is. We really boil down to, and the reason we count hours is because I want to make sure I sell this for a very fair profit. You know, like I don't want
Right.
to charge you more than it took me to make, but I also don't want to undersell myself. It's like, okay, how long did this take to print? Because
Yeah.
that every minute my printer's running is a moment I can't be printing something for myself. Which, like I said, my printer's running 24/7. Um, and every minute I am painting something for somebody or I am making something for somebody is time that I am actively making effort for. So it's like you got to factor in cost of print, cost
Yeah.
of my time, cost of dry time, and stuff like that. It's like these are times whereas like each one has a different value. Like dry time doesn't cost me a dime. It's just sitting there. So that's like 10 cents. Print time, I have one printer. So it costs a little bit more. My actual work time where I'm taking
Yeah.
time
And
to do
you've got to
something
factor
myself.
electricity in too because of the
Exactly.
printer.
So it's one of those things are but I can't make you make a fully accurate detailed costume for $100.
Funny thing, the
You hand me
the
the
commission, which
supplies,
I will
I
show off
will.
because I'm proud. Yeah, the commission I
Because
made
this.
when I was posting my progress about it, I actually
Mhm.
had somebody message me and say, "Could you make me one?" And I'm like, "Sure. This is my requirements, all of this." And they said, "I'll give you 150 bucks." And while foam can be cheap, especially if you do like I do, I scour Facebook Marketplace for gym floor mats,
Yes.
like the
Mhm.
puzzle mats, because it's
Yeah.
EVA foam. And like I got a stack of 50 of them for like 20 bucks. Um, but even still, the the prop that I made, that alone was twice that in materials. So I'm like, no, I cannot give this to you for $150. I cannot make it for that much. I would be in the red. I have made things for friends. Making things for friends is how I started actually promoting like my work and trying to do commissions and make things for other cosplayers. But it's, you can't undersell yourself on that. These things take a lot of work.
Let me ask you a question. How many times have you been asked, "Can I pay you in exposure dollars?"
Um,
The just
I
do it because you'll get lots of exposure. And I'm like, as a filmmaker, that used to infuriate me. I mean, as a prop maker, as a
I don't
cosplayer, it
like that
infuriates me.
at all.
Yeah. No, neither do I.
It
That's
no. It is because exposure, I have no guarantee of that unless you are handing me a legally binding contract. No.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like people are like, "Oh, you'll get exposure." And I'm like, "I can expose myself, thank you very much. I'm great at exposing
Mhm.
myself." Um
Yep.
because I sell myself every day. The fact that you know about me is the fact that my exposure works. And I think a lot of people don't get, that they're like, "Oh, but if you make this for me, I'm going to take it and this is going to be my claim to fame. So you're going to get that exposure." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Listen, I have the original. I walk out wearing that sucker. You are not going to give me any exposure that I'm not getting myself." And that's one thing that I think a lot of
Mhm.
people like they don't get. And thank you, Lewis, for
Well, yeah.
quoting exactly that. And you don't want us exposing ourselves.
I did like I learned the exposure lesson the hard way with
Mm-hmm.
a prop set I made for my son's friend for their cosplay. And they were, for a while, a really big name in my area of North Carolina for their cosplays, for their TikTok, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it. Just make sure that you tell people about me. They went into a cosplay competition, told the judges they made it instead of telling people about me.
Yep.
Um, I I was fucking butthurt. Oh my god, I was so mad.
I would listen. I
Since
would be
then,
too. It's
anything I've
yeah,
made for
yeah.
people, I engrave my name somewhere in the prop. So that way, if that happens again and I hear about it, I can contact the judges and say, look, this person said they made it. They did not. Ask to see here, and you will find this. Um,
Um,
and
and
it's
a lot
sad,
of
but
people
I've
do
seen
that.
that happen a ton.
So this wonderful trap that I keep showing off was made by the very talented, like it was designed by the very talented Taco Belly. And the one thing I love about him and Q, and where is it? It is on here somewhere. But he signs all his 3D prints. Several of these prints have, and I don't know where they're on here. They're very well hidden. But he signed all his prints, and I'm very happy he does because, like I said, he sells it. And yeah, it's him and Q, the people who design like that pack. Not designed by me. It was designed by Quentin Michaels. He's very talented.
Yeah.
He made the Q pack. The trap designed by Taco Belly, um, who is a very amazing, talented artist and these people they share their work. The one thing I love, especially when it comes to 3D printing, is there's so many people out there, and there's these diehard fans that will work this massive amount of time designing a prop in like 3D print, and then just go have it. And
Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, but I'm very
And those people
happy
deserve
that
credit.
yep, and that's why I always give full credit that this is a Q pack,
Mhm.
and that is his name, and this is a Taco Belly trap.
Yep.
Um, don't get me wrong, the wiring 100% Dondero. Just gonna say that right now, 100% Dondero wiring.
Wiring is something
But
I'm still learning. It
um,
is hard, but I've never been good with electronics.
oh, Creative
Um,
Guy TV
I
wants to know your
do.
baby Instagram.
My baby Instagram. It is a baby one. The only reason I made it is because of an awesome experience I had at PAX West. Um, and I don't know how to show pictures on here because I don't think I have it on my laptop.
Actually,
Um,
go ahead and post your Instagram, and they can go and check it out. If you can type it in the chat
okay.
or just copy link,
Yeah.
I will approve it the minute it comes out.
Okay. Let's see. No.
Because I want everyone to follow you as much as possible because you are very talented.
Thank you. But it was I if people watching are familiar with League of Legends Arcane,
Mm-hmm.
um, of course, I have a very good friend of mine that owns an awesome t-shirt company, and I work conventions for her. And she is obsessed with League and kept joking around saying, "Somebody make me a fishbone, somebody make me a fishbones," because she loved Arcane, loved the way that the variant looked in that show,
Hmm.
and none of her prop maker friends would do it. So I said, "You know what? I am bored. Bet I'm gonna make it."
Oh, thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chad.
Yes. Thank
He actually
you.
posted HTML.
Um, oh, there we go. Awesome. Um, but I made it. I put it in her company colors, and instead of like the little bone on the jaw joint, I put her logo, all of that stuff. And I had not done an Instagram yet. I was just like, I'm just making these for friends, making it for myself because it's fun. And then I brought it, or we brought it to PAX West for her booth, and I actually had a woman come up to me and talk to me about it, like ask how
Hmm.
I made it. And she didn't want to believe that it was foam, because when you do foam right, you can't tell that that's what it is.
That's
Um,
100% right.
and
Wait, have you ever watched Futurama?
it takes a lot of work. Yes, I do.
Okay, so three things that really fall under, and I'll say this, and I quote Futurama all the time: special effects, prop building, and cosplay. When you do things right, nobody will be sure you did anything at all.
Hmm.
And that was
It
something that used to infuriate me with editing because I was a special effects editor. They'd watch it and they wouldn't realize
right.
how many hours I poured into it. Or you would look at the cosplay, my prop. You wouldn't realize how many hours and pain and blood and sweat I put into it, or a cosplay or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
Because if you do it
That
right,
that one that I made my friend, I am missing a fingerprint because I burned myself with a 900-degree wood burner making it. Like it was weird. I legitimately saw ash on my hand. And but the woman that complimented me and sat and talked to me about it, I found out afterwards was a former assistant producer for Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
oh, I
And I
was I
about
was
died
excited for
when
the
I found
story.
that
I,
out.
I yelled at you not to tell me this
Yeah,
story until stream.
it was. Yes, yes. I found out from one of my
Thank
other
you,
friends
Calvino.
who's very big in the prop making scene and the media scene on the West Coast, and he said, "Hey, she used to work for Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and she just complimented your prop. Why do you not have an Instagram?" So I started making it. Yes, I do too. I have the symbol of Thra and the Gelfling clans on my arm. Um, but after he told me who she was, I went, okay, I guess everybody is right, and I really should start promoting myself. Because I've noticed it's a trend with cosplayers. Imposter syndrome is totally a thing. And I thought, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do it. But then I got that compliment. Yes, I was too. I was pissed.
I think it's one of
That was
those
such an
things.
amazing show.
A lot of cosplayers, and because I'm friends with a lot of cosplayers, and myself too. No matter how successful I am or how professional I feel, that imposter syndrome, what you said right there, is 100% accurate. Is I don't do good, uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is that like I do what I do because I love it. It brings me joy. But when someone
Hmm.
recognizes it and someone like really like like why are you not sharing this? You're like I didn't feel like it was worth sharing. When in reality,
Yeah.
you are so talented. Like as soon as you and you are a guest on here tonight because I made a post. I was like, hey, I want other cosplayers, prop makers, anybody to come out and be on D101 because I want to talk more about it and you messaged me and you were like showing me stuff and I'm like, oh my god, this person puts my talent to shame. Um, but then that was me doing the trauma of like, oh wait, I am also a talented prop builder. We all do it. We all have that moment where we're like, I don't belong here. I don't belong
Yeah,
promoting myself. And you of all people, like I've seen your work. You sent me pictures. You are so talented, and I'm like, I am envious, purely envious of
it's
your ability to do what you do.
that neurospicy hyperfixation on perfection.
Neurospicy.
Um,
Don Darrow
yes,
streams. Literally, the motto is neurodivergent, socially irresponsible content, because that's what we do. We this year is the year of me, and that applies to everyone. This year is the year to everybody celebrate themselves and be who they absolutely need to be. That's our theme
exactly.
this year.
That is the way it should be.
Yep,
And
right there.
yep,
Creative TV.
that is
I
exactly
I have a story
like
about exactly what he just said. That happened Saturday. So I got invited to we're a member of the same group. Charlie MF. I invited, made a
mhm.
post about the
Charlie's
microcon.
amazing.
Charlie is so fantastic and she's so supportive and I love her to death and I've got all the hearts. But she
I
made a post and I was
remember
like, okay,
seeing
this
her
is.
at Queen City Anime Con and just
Mhm.
swooning over her Bakugo that she did. I was like, "Oh my God, this woman is amazing."
So there's this microcon that happened this weekend at a brewery, and I was like, okay, I'm jumping on every chance to go dress up as a Ghostbuster, wear my proton pack, and go have fun. But in my own head, I am like, this is silly. This is like, I don't look that good. It's cool. I go there and everyone's just like, oh my god. They're like, you're bringing it. You have brought the show, and they're giving me so many compliments, and I feel so uncomfortable by that. Like there's
Hmm.
that little ADHD self doubt in my brain going, why are you telling me this? Shut.
Yep.
I won the costume contest that I didn't even want to enter because I don't want the attention. And I've won
Hmm.
two costume contests with my ghost. Like here's the first one I ever won that I didn't even enter. I never signed up for. I won it just by showing up. Someone entered me for me. Oop, and I dropped it.
Yep. It's
And
that's
then
part of why I haven't entered them because I'm
yeah,
like, it's the attention thing. Like when I found out who she was and how she complimented me, there was this part of me that wanted to crawl in a corner and die because I'm like, no, no, don't do
yeah.
this.
Don't pay attention to me.
Here's all the
Stop.
things that are wrong. Yes. That and it's also the like the cosplaying why I haven't done competitions too, and I will not get on this soapbox as much as I want to, is the whole, the ageism in cosplay is also what kicks in that insecurity too, because it is a thing. Um, yeah, the waiting around would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I've thought about competing this year. If not, then if I actually finish one of my dream builds, I might try next year. I just don't know how long it's gonna take. Um,
I wouldn't
but
enter
yeah,
one at a convention because exactly what Creative Guy said. Not to mention because usually I'm there with a group of Ghostbusters. Um, but like the ones I entered, the one like this weekend, I didn't have to wait around. I walked into the building. A guy with a clipboard ran up to me and said, "What's your name?" And I gave him my name. And they're like, "Okay, cool, you're signed up." And I was like, "Signed up for what?" Costume contest. It's at 4. And I was like, "Okay, what do I got to do?" Because I'm here to drink beer and hang out with Charlie. Um, and all I had to do was exactly that. And I did exactly that. And then they were like, okay, let's show it off. There was like 5 other people there. So I don't think I'd ever enter a costume contest of people who actually like you. I would not go up against you at a convention because, like I said, a lot of my stuff I feel very cheaty because I 3D print stuff.
it's not cheaty though, and like I
That but
hear
and that's
people
it.
say
That's
that,
it right there.
especially home crafters. They'll be like, "Oh, 3D printing." I'm like, "No, I have a 3D printer sitting right here behind my laptop collecting dust. because I cannot figure it out. It is so complicated. I mean, trying to do that PID tuning and getting the thing level
I know
and
I've been helping you bit by
like,
bit, and we're gonna get that work. That we're gonna get that sucker
yes,
working.
eventually, because it's, I will say the bonus to 3D printing that I've noticed, making things myself, is again, without a laser cutter for foam, the downside is there's some details that you're just not going to get.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and
But
3D
also,
printing, you
I think you're gonna have as much failure with foam. Here, here's an argument I made when I was a filmmaker, and this is the most name dropping I've ever done on stream. But do you know who Doug Jones is?
yes,
Everybody does. He was my idol growing up because he was the man in the moon. I sat on a panel with him one time talking about, because I was a CG artist and practical, and it was the panel was essentially which is better. And this is the argument I made as someone who's 100% a CG artist. Neither. They go hand in hand. Same with EV foam and 3D printing. I think that the very end result is they both have their place, and they're both spectacular when you combine the two. When you take
yes,
a 3D print and some EV foam and put it together to build this very epic piece, it's that perfect balance of this much 3D print, this much EV foam, this much just pray, hope, God,
oh yeah,
and super glue.
exactly. Like, I've got the one thing with 3D printing that I have not messed up, and I honestly, after playing with it with my commission, I highly recommend, is the 3D print pens.
Yes.
There was some engraving, like, there was some accents to it that I couldn't quite get to work with the foam. And I'm like, okay, I will use my 3D pen to make this part and then just sand it down. And then there we go. Um, and it works fantastic. So you're totally right on that. Like, combining the two for where, like, bulk wise, this is an example, and again, giving credit, if you're looking to get into foam, I would cosplay is amazing.
I
um
would cosplay.
his stuff, yes,
I'm
his
gonna look him up.
cosplays
Is
are
he on
amazing.
Instagram?
His I don't know, but I know he's on YouTube, and his patterns are on Etsy, and they're pretty cheap. Um, but like, this is one of the gears. Again, you can see, you look at it from here and you're like, "Oh, that's really cool." But me, I see this warping right here. So
Yeah.
someone compliments it and I'm like, "Oh, I've got this spot right here. I really don't like it." But this was like one of the first things I made in my first year of crafting. But like, EVA, you make this big piece and then like you do 3D printing for the little bars here and there you go.
Let
I
me ask
think
you a
that
question
would be
because I am
awesome.
the same way. Tell me 5 errors in this trap.
Um, I I think I see some texture on the back of the layers, but that's
Yep.
the
All right.
only thing I
Here's
can see.
what I see is the plastic is a little warped. Uh, the stickers are coming up just a little bit. They're things that only you're going to notice. And I think the one thing you
Yeah.
have to let go as a cosplayer, the most important thing we could ever share as a cosplayer, the biggest tip in the world, is every error you're seeing is an error no one's going to pay attention to.
Yep.
Because
And
and and this is something I've learned by wearing this trap out on my belt, and I see every little flaw, every little detail error, and somebody picks it up and looks at it and they're playing with it and they're flipping the switch and they're holding it and they're 10 years old again, and you realize they share that magic that you had. That's why you made it.
Exactly.
And so everyone here who thinks, "Oh, I am not good at what I do," remember, you made the effort. That's you win. You win by
Yes.
making the effort. There's no such thing as a failed cosplay. There is 100% a non-done cosplay. Like there's 100% like I didn't do it.
Yeah,
But there's never no
absolutely.
one's ever looked at somebody and went, "Oh,
Nope.
that's just not good." I have never experienced that.
No.
Even in my Facebook groups, when I posted pictures of stuff, like I posted a picture of this, and I am all day long. Hold on, I gotta go to live studio. Nope. Okay, hold on. Inactivity verification complete. Cool. Um, I think part of the thing is people we're our own hardest critics.
We are. Um, and it's something I've been slowly trying to tell myself, like you said, I put the effort forward. I made this, and do you feel good in it?
Yeah.
You do? Awesome. It doesn't matter if here, I've got seams poking out where I didn't seal it. I've got warps on it, but when I wore it to a con, I felt like a badass. Um,
That's it.
so
No one sees the flaws but you. And
exactly.
I mean that to everyone watching. You know, like I said, it doesn't matter what you make it out of. Foam, 3D print, cardboard, like
I have seen some amazing cardboard work.
yeah.
Like,
Or
I
just bought the
admire
costume
people
from
that can
Spirit
do that.
Halloween.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I
What
mean,
are
hell,
you doing?
I've bought pre-made costumes before.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them good, some of them not good. Like I do a lot of Genshin cosplays and I buy those. I don't make them because they're super complicated. And then I've bought cheaper ones that are manufactured and you know what? I feel awesome, but a thing that I've tried to tell other cosplayers that they can do is if you don't want to make it yourself, if you can't make it yourself, there's ways to elevate those. Like
Yeah.
I took one and what did I do on it? Actually, I have it. Um it was a hat. This was like the cheap heat pressed stuff on it and I just embroidered around it. And then that immediately changes how it looks. I changed the cheap little plastic buttons out. And there's ways just to make myself feel good. I'm like, yeah, I did buy this, but you know what? I changed it. So I feel awesome.
I agree
Um,
100%. And it is 100% boiled down to, are you having fun? That's the important thing. Because I
mhm.
promise you, the one thing I love about conventions and all of the things that I've done is that, and especially now as we go forward, and we're nearing the end of the stream. So I definitely want to have you in because I want to talk about something else that we talked about yesterday while we were doing test. Um,
Yes.
was just it's getting more supportive as we go, and it's because we're fighting every day to go. Cosplay is not consent. Also, gatekeeping is bullshit.
Yep. Gatekeeping is bullshit. Anybody on here that's in the 30 plus cosplay community, I love you. Represent. I don't care how old you are. I am 40 years old cosplaying
Mm-hmm.
a teenager from an anime.
That's it right there.
So yep,
And
exactly.
MzKatonic, I do want to have you back on because I want to do a whole episode
Yeah.
on gatekeeping. I want to do a whole
Yes.
episode on being 40 and cosplaying because, like I said, I started cosplaying after I was 40 years old. Like I literally waited that
Mhm.
long, and now I'm getting
I was
into
in
it.
my high 30s when I started.
Hmm.
And I would love again to talk about the crafting. Oh no, we're almost out. I didn't get to show off the change and
Oh
everything.
no, don't. Hey, no,
Um,
listen.
yes,
We're gonna have time for that. I was just saying we're not gonna have time to get into
sweet.
40 because I
Oh,
do
the
want to show off
soapbox
that.
rants.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to do more
that
soapbox
the
rants because this channel is all about let's have a soapbox. Here you go.
I
Uh,
have the biggest soapbox rant about the whole ageism and all that
yeah,
bullshit. Yes, 54, awesome. Um, I support you. I have a big
but
soapbox about it from my own experiences.
we have been waiting all night long, and I knew what we were waiting on. No one else knew. Go ahead and show us your current piece of work because I want you to give a good long
Yes,
talk about it. Because I want
I
you to break this
totally
sucker
will.
out and explain what it is. Because as someone who doesn't watch a lot of anime, who's still catching up, I'm catching up. I want to know what you got.
Okay. So the whole Amanda getting Instagram thing that inspired me to start posting it also ended up inspiring me to start taking commissions and teaching people. Hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to get a panel to show people foam crafting and how practice makes perfect. I say in quotations,
Well,
because I
congratulations.
got
This is a panel.
there we go. Because it's just about the time. Like as an example, again, I only started this like 4 years ago. Um, and you can look at something like this with all these flaws in it, the warping, all of that. There's the magnets that attach to my shoulders. Um, and then the commission I made, and I love this cosplayer so much. They're in Alabama. They go by Leslie Faye Cosplays on Instagram. They had seen me at MomoCon with the fish bones I made for my friend and asked me if I did commissions. And I kind of clammed up for a second. And my friend went, Amanda, yes, do it, do it, do it, do it. So I gave them my info and they contacted me in December and said, I want to do a Viking version of Jinx from League of Legends. Can you help me and can you make fish bones for me? So we talked, we did a design and everything, and I actually just finished it this week. And I am super excited. I still, again, the I know the flaws, but from a distance compared to how I used to do,
Ain't nobody here gonna see
it
them
has
flaws.
changed.
I hate to break it to you.
Oh yeah, I gotta get her because she's big. This is what 90 hours of work gets. It
Oh,
is, I
that is.
made
Hold on.
it's, yeah, there's that. I'll try to panel slow. It's fish bones, but they had me do a Viking version. Like this, I did. This is why I say a Dremel is your friend if you're doing foam crafting, because all this engraving up here, I did purely with a Dremel. Um, the battle damage I told you about, like I'll roll her over here. That I just put it on high speed and let it go. Um, and yeah, this took me, if I can get her head, she big, 90 hours worth of work. Um, and the thing, I don't know how much 3D printing props weigh, but the nice thing about EVA foam is they're light. Like this weighs, because I weighed it, it weighs exactly 3.5 pounds. Do the eyes. Yes. I Before when I first started prop making, I knew nothing about LEDs. I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then this guy, I did that. Yes, they do. Which
Hold it
fun
up just a
trick.
little bit. Hold it up a little higher.
Yep. A little higher, right
Yep,
there,
just because yeah, there you go.
and the jaw
That's some magic.
Yeah. It was, yeah, this was after 4 years. And it's price by or and it's all about being crafty and clever with stuff. Like I found out, fun fact, the cheap $2 frosted shower curtains from Walmart work fantastic as a light diffuser.
Oh wow, I did not
Um,
think about that.
yes. Like the shell I made out of Warbler, which I've never worked with it before. I did with this. I love it. I don't love the price of it. But when I made it, I could see the ring of LED lights in there. And I'm like, okay, I need to diffuse it. So I bought a cheap, um, yeah, just a cheap shower curtain and glued it on the inside of the Warbler. And now you can't see it. Um, like this here, this was a cheap bracelet I got off of Temu, and I just broke it and made the belt loop. Um, the leather here was from one of my failed cosplays that I tried to make. So I just took this cheap $20 fake leather coat, cut it up, made some belts. Um, but it's with that whole can you make me this for $100 thing? And when we talk about, like we were talking earlier with time and effort, like this fin here is 6 pieces.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is 6 pieces here. The head itself, and again, why Quick Seal is awesome, you can't see it, but this is 2 pieces here with a third up front. You can see the battery pack because I haven't put the cover on yet. Um, and
I don't think anyone looked at that and went, "There's a battery pack." I think everyone looked at it and went, "That is
see,
awesome."
see, it's that pointing out the flaws.
Uh
Um,
huh.
but I have that pack to cover it up and fix it. But yeah, that's the thing people don't realize when they try to say, "Oh, I'll give you this for that," is, it's a
By
lot
the
of
way,
work.
she is available for a commission, so hit her up on her Instagram.
I am, and I love doing it, honestly. It is a lot of fun. I loved the cosplayer that I did this with because I like doing stuff out of the box. Um, I mean, the fact that I took this iconic launcher from a huge game and got to turn it into this was just fantastic. I loved it. Um, so I'm like, you want me to make stuff, I will gladly make stuff. It's just fun. I also want to teach people how to do it too, because you look at these, like you look at that, and yeah, it took me a long time to do it, but at the end of the day, it's like cutting out a puzzle and putting it together.
All right, here we
Um,
go. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a
so
game. Calvino or somebody trigger Pedro snack time. We're gonna play a little
what?
game. Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's the game?
Oh, this game is someone has to trigger it so I can take a shot because that's our rule. Thank you, Pedro. From this is from The Last of Us. We do a shot, but I would love to have you back on for multiple episodes, teaching more EVA foam, teaching you tutorials and all that.
I would love to do that because it is legitimately so much fun. It can be infuriating at the same time, but I would love to teach people that are intimidated by it that, it's
I am one of those
really
people.
not that bad. Um, it's just it's a lot of patience. And one of the biggest tips I can say is when you start making it, make sure that you have a mask. I've made myself sick from inhaling fumes a couple times.
Okay, so
Um,
that's a very important tip that we should probably should have started with
yes,
safety. Um,
yeah. Please, please, please do not use contact cement or Plastidip inside. You will get very ill.
Do you
I
have a
made
YouTube
myself
channel?
very sick doing it. No, I do not. I have been told I should do that. I do make myself sick from working too much. One of the aggravations for my carpal tunnel surgery was dremeling too much, which is another tip. If your hand starts tingling and you're dremeling, stop. Don't be me.
So, I'm going to ask you right here on stream, would you be willing to come back and do more episodes and be a guest star and talk us more tips, let our audience come back and ask you more questions so we can build you up so you
Yeah,
can start your own YouTube channel? Because the one thing I love to do on my channel, and people who follow me and watch me, is the one thing I do really well is I will adopt somebody and let them be like, come be on my channel, give me all your awesome content so we can get your name out there so you can start doing this on your own.
that would be awesome. And honestly, I just want to do it because gotta represent the older cosplayers
You damn
because
right.
fuck the ageism. Um, and I want to support prop makers in general, and especially as a female lady prop makers, because you don't see there's some big names, but you don't see a lot of them. And just to teach people how to make these cool things that they see at cons and have them realize, wow, this is really not that hard. It's difficult, but it is something that, like, I can't draw to save my life. I was able to do that, so um
Still tired and
I'm an
angry.
EV
Just
free
literally
lady.
won the stream. So you pay your guests an
There we
exposure.
go. I'll pay my guests an exposure.
I
um
mean, you're not
so yeah, I
wrong,
would love
but
to do that.
also, yeah, I would love to have you on. I'll stay in contact with you. So, people who
Yeah,
are watching the stream
absolutely.
right now on Twitch or TikTok, stay tuned for more D101, where we're gonna have MzKatonic on again. But we're also gonna have other cool guests because I know Paul Bradford. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I had Paul Bradford. He's gonna come on and talk about his new his new wrist neutrino wand, and then completely forgot because I'm in the process of getting a house and whatnot. So, um, Twitch needs more
I
cosplayers. I
don't
agree.
stream already because I only learned about how to do this sort of thing on Twitch when I talked to Don Darrow. I had Twitch, but it was for Genshin Primo Gems only.
And
So
that's
I've got
one
to
thing
learn how
I
to do
I will
that.
say this. This is what I'm gonna pay you in. You come back on and be a guest star, and I will teach you how to stream and do this on your own,
That
without
would be
me,
fantastic.
and do it on your own because, like I said, you have been a fantastic guest. I want to thank you so much. And honestly, we have a lot more to talk
Thank
about.
you for letting me come on.
Because like I
Yeah.
said yesterday when we did our test stream when we were up here texting, we had an entire episode of this show off cam like off recording. I was so mad 'cause I was just like, in my head I'm just like, this is content. You were literally just preaching some content. Um,
You just get me on here, and if I have caffeine, I will sit here and ramble for you.
that works.
Some
That
of it
works
may be
great. And
nonsensical, but I will totally do
oh,
that. Give me a
I
soapbox
will
about
say right now,
cosplay or props, and I'll go.
my audience kind of expects nonsensical, so it's kind of my bag. So I think you will fit right in. And like I said, I want to say, get caffeine. I need to see more of this. Necroblade. Thank you, Necroblade. Um, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we have streams all week long. I can't promise that MzKatonic will be here for everyone because, like I said, we do Wednesday team gaming, Thursday Ghostbusters, where we play some Spirits Unleashed. We play video games. We do podcasting. I will sit down and just do prop building when it comes to like electric. So one of the things I do is I wired up this guy. I built this sucker on stream and did all the lighting and everything like that. Burnt myself a lot because I didn't have helping hands.
Yeah.
But
See, that would
I
be
think
another thing is like, even for me, breaking down LEDs on a stream would be amazing.
I
because
think it would be a lot
I'd
of
like
fun
to
to do
learn
it.
more about what you're doing.
I would like to do what you're doing. I think one of the things we could probably do in the future, and this would be really fun to do, and this is me kind of just shooting from the hip, but like take turns of like, okay, I'm going to be the watcher. You do you, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to ask questions as you go. Miss
I would totally
Cantonic.
do that.
Not MzKatonic. Please, it's killing me. I will say what I say. I don't work good. Catonic. But I think it would be like a lot of fun to
All
do
good.
like, vice versa of like I will sit and watch
Yeah.
you make a prop and do this the entire time. What are you doing there? Explain what this is. I have a question.
Yeah.
And then vice
And I
versa
can
when
go
it
over the
comes to
tools because,
yeah.
yeah, that would be awesome to do that vice versa. Because tools like this thing that has saved my life, and I can
Ooh, what is
explain what
that?
that does. Ways. This
You'll have
is
to tune in
okay.
later for that.
So, yes,
No, wait, don't explain it.
Logan
Don't
Foamworks
sell it
is the
now.
hole drill. I will go over a lot of that next time, but it makes your life easier.
Calvino. That's not fair because I like calling you Calavino. Um, listen, I don't pronounce names right. I don't speak right. That's what we do here on D101. We get it wrong and we're okay with it. Most just call me CG on
I know.
Twitch. I like
Whatever's
CG. I'm gonna
clever.
call you
I'm
Guy.
just here to rant about stuff that I enjoy,
Yeah,
and that's
honestly,
about
that's it.
it.
I think there's a lot of content that we could do together that would be a lot of fun. So I hope to have you back on a more regular
Yeah.
basis because it has been a lot of fun, and I think our audience has loved it.
Yes, and it has been awesome. And this I thank you for letting me come on here because I've always been intimidated by this sort of thing, and this has actually been super chill. So that would be awesome.
This has been a lot of fun. We had a big shakeup as my stream company broke up at the beginning of the year, and like I said, it was a lot of it was a lot of growth. Everyone had to do separate growth, and so it wasn't a bad thing, but it was one of those things I kind of missed the give and take back and forth of like I am me, I am who I am, and I need somebody who is them and who they is without the we are the same person with the same things.
I am very much the I am who I am. You don't like me, then sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. So I wanna thank you for coming on the stream. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight and
Yeah,
supported
thank you.
on both TikTok and Twitch because now we're doing dual stream. We're in a dual stream era
Yes.
where we are like TikToking and Twitching. We're never gonna
Fancy.
leave. I'm never gonna leave Twitch. But I'm trying to get out there to do more audience, to do more things, to do more promotion. We're gonna have a cool fancy button that we're gonna work on
There we
building.
go.
Miss, hold on, let me scroll back up to the pronunciation.
Katonic.
MzKatonic. Wait, say it. No, you say it.
Yes. If you know Lovecraft, think MzKatonic University.
Catonic, not catatonic. Catonic.
Yeah.
In my defense,
Yes.
I'd only seen it. It was like a run like the wind. I had only seen it written.
At least it's not let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Listen, we do that all the time. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in and stay tuned. This week we're gonna have
Yeah.
fun streams all week long. We're gonna be doing team gaming with the with the former BSBN, Team Waffalo of Friend Gaming. Thanks for being a good sport. Oh, no, still tired? Listen, this is how we do it. We do it. We don't get mad about it. Can I ask you a question? I mean, you
Yep.
can ask
I
us
will
a
have to watch the
question.
game streaming because
They're fun. Like I said,
yeah, I'll have to
Wednesday
watch the
night
game streaming
we do team
because
gaming.
I love my
It's
video
not
games.
it's not professional gaming by any stretch of the means. It's a bunch of 40-year-olds going 40 and 50-year-olds going, let's play video games. What are we doing? And yelling about it. We're old man yelling at the sky. Thursdays I try to
See,
play
that's the best
Ghostbusters.
type.
Yeah.
Nice. Like the
Actual.
best type of entertainment.
Yes.
Example, my youngest son listening to an 8-year-old scream over Fortnite is the best entertainment, not
Oh,
professional. The non-professional ones are the best.
so my favorite thing right now is TikTok. So since we're working on dual streaming, has like doesn't have any of the games I have. So every game I stream on TikTok is Fortnite because it's like one of 5 games they have on their like available games.
Yeah,
But Emma Snap, my beautiful, wonderful partner. This has been great. Good night. She's like, I'm done.
absolutely.
But
All right. Thank
I
you
just can't get a
guys.
TikTok myself. No, honestly, we're just TikToking to stay young. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a blast. I love all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more awesome things in the future as we grow. Don Duro Streams, as always, is always growing and ever changing. This is the year of me, and that means the year of you.
Yes.
MzKatonic. Oh, just gifted a
Woo, there
tear
we go.
up. That means they're ad free. If you subscribe, you're ad free. You ain't got commercials to deal with.
There you
Because
go.
I hate commercials. But I want to thank you so much for tuning
So
in.
do I.
Guys, you're going to see a lot more of her, hopefully. It's going to be a lot more in the
Yes,
future.
definitely. All right.
Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
so much, guys. Bye.